What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comically Boston. Today is episode 147, April 29th, 2024. Oof! Another beautiful Monday here in Boston, Massachusetts, and we had a big week last week. Deadpool and Wolverine's trailer came out, a big reaction on the channel to that, almost 100 plus views there. Thank you guys for watching. Go check that out if you haven't. You'll see my full reaction and excitement and, breaking down Easter eggs I saw from that trailer, but we'll talk a little bit more briefly here today on things that I saw in that trailer that I forgot to mention in that video. There was also some new Hot Toys. If you guys don't know what the Hot Toys is, it's like statues and stuff. I'm more of a Lego builder, but when it comes to display pieces, it's still really cool. So something came out recently with Hot Toys and Funko, and I might need to add those to the collection, so we'll talk about that. Zendaya's Challengers was also opened up over this weekend, and I didn't get a chance to go see that, but that is definitely on my list. It apparently opened up really well, and people are saying it's really, really good, and Zendaya's, just really killing it these days with Dune Part 2 and Challengers both in the theaters at the same time. She's starring in both of them, so it's like, god damn, this girl's career is blowing up overnight. Congratulations to her. Also, Shogun, the FX TV show set in ancient Japan, and dealing with samurai and stuff like that. Hirozuki Sanada, he's fucking killing it. Anya Sawai, I think is her name. She's also friggin' great. She was the lady from Godzilla Legacy of the Monsters and or Monarch Legacy of the Monsters. Either way, that show on Apple TV was pretty great, and she was good in that. And then following it up with Shogun here on FX and Hulu. Oof, I can't believe this is an FX TV show. You know what I mean? When I'm watching it, and it's getting compared to Game of Thrones and all types of stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Like, it's not totally Game of Thrones. It's like a modern samurai tale, but like it's got the same type of weight. I feel like when I watch it, I want to be as invested in it as I was in Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones also had just so many seasons of getting to know those characters and things going on in that world that dragged you into their like lore. Where this is just kind of, I think it's going to be one season and done. 10 episodes. I am 9 episodes through. I just finished episode 9 last night, and I was like, damn, this friggin' episode was dope. So now I gotta see, and the way that episode ends left me on a huge cliffhanger, so now I gotta see what happens in the finale. So I'll watch that later tonight after I watch another movie. Over the weekend, Bob Marley, One Love, his biopic I watched, starring Kingsley Benadir as Bob Marley. That didn't get a ton of views, but a man commented on that and said, hey, check out the Now You See Me movies and do that pretty expeditiously. So, coming out tomorrow, based on requests, Now You See Me 1, I watched last night, and that was really good, so I'll be watching Now You See Me 2 eventually. And also heard recently that Now You See Me 3 is in the works, and a bunch of the cast is returning and shit, so I love those kind of movies, so stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll be talking more about that, but let's get into that Deadpool news from last week. I think I showed it, but I didn't mention it too much, that the posters that they came out for Deadpool and Wolverine last week, this is the ones with Hugh Jackman, with Deadpool in his claws, and then they have the inverse of that with Deadpool with Wolverine in the reflection of his blades. And then someone took those images and made this one, which I thought was just awesome. Deadpool and Wolverine coming July 26th, and just speculating all of the people that we might think are in there. Like, we have already confirmed that the lady with the nail claws, Azazel, Pyro, all of those characters are confirmed by the trailers to be in the movie. There are so many cameos that we just don't know if it's real, if it's not. We think they're going to be in it, but we haven't gotten any confirmation really from the trailers or anything like that. So, this poster just is funny. It's got Apocalypse, it's got Michael Chiklis's The Thing from the Fantastic Four movies, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, Wesley Snipes' Blade, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the Ang Lee Hulk, the original Fantastic Four's Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer, Ghost Rider, Thomas Jane's Punisher, right? Like, and that's just wild cameos. But like, the way this movie's got me feeling, I have no idea, are these cameos going to be in there or not? So I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Are these cameos all going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Like in July, are we going to see just what Multiverse of Madness should have been? And I saw someone online saying, well, the movie isn't going to have $1 billion in budget, right, to get all these people to show up. But I have a feeling that Ryan Reynolds himself can get a lot of these people to show up. You know, hey, show up for a day on set, hang out with me and Hugh, you know, and like not really make it about the money and make it about like, hey, it's gonna be really fun, come on, like, and get people that way. So I don't know if necessarily they definitely have to pay a lot of these people for the cameos, but I don't know if a lot of these will be, you know, shelling out millions of dollars for these cameos. But I don't know. I think this movie's gonna be huge. I have no idea really where we're gonna go, but I just find it crazy that the first time we saw Deadpool and Wolverine together, this is what we got in X-Men Origins Wolverine. With Hugh Jackman's got the boiling claws and he slices off Deadpool's head, but he's not even really Deadpool because he's got laser vision. He's got retractable swords out of his hands, which don't even make sense. But just what we got now is so much better. These two badasses in their comic book accurate suits, the yellow and blue, the red and black, the gold pistols, walking down the street, you know, like it's so perfect. You know, they look great. Hugh Jackman's finally got the sleeves ripped off. I'm really curious to see if we actually get to see a real cowl on him, you know, to see that side of things. Oh, God, this movie. Shots from the trailer that I forgot to talk about more. The opening shot we see of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine sitting at a bar mirrors almost identically to the Wolverine video game, the first appearance we saw of him in the video game teaser trailer that came out last year. We're still waiting on more news about that game. I would be super hyped if that Wolverine game came out in July around the time of the movie coming out. That would just be perfect timing. More things from that trailer. Cassandra Nova, played by Emma Corrin, walks out of a giant man's skull, right? She's living in giant man's body, and when it opens up, you can see Lady Deathclaw, whatever her name is. You can also see Toad over there on the left. You can see Azazel, this guy in the striped shirt standing in front of Red Skull's car with Tony's hot rod paint job on it. It looks like the same outfit Kevin Nash wore in Thomas Jane's Punisher, right? So there's things that are so obscure in this, but I'm like, are they really going to tie that into this together? Like, it's so wild. But I just wanted to note that, like, not only is this a helmet that they're living in, like, this is a full skull, right, that they're living in, because you can see teeth and a little bit of a nose, eye sockets, right? Like, so they are living in Giant Man's body, and you can actually see in a shot from the trailer his entire body laid out, and he's like, they're using his hands as like a gate, you know, so they're opening his hands as like the blocking in this compound that they have, and his arms and the legs and everything are the rest of it, you know, like wild to even think about that. That's a set in this movie, is dead Giant Man's body. Whether it's Scott Lang or Hank Pym, we don't know that yet, but I'd be super curious to figure it out. I also love just this clip of Deadpool dodging Wolverine's strikes, and online they somehow mirrored it next to Tobey Maguire in his first Spider-Man dodging Joe Manganiello's Flash's punches, and they seem to line up almost identical. Which, I mean, it could just be fighting, you know, choreographed stuff, you know, like if someone swings this way, you go this way, if they swing that way, you go this way, right? Like, I think it's a coincidence. I don't think they were going that similar to make it identical to the first Spider-Man movie, but, you know, you never know. With Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, you really don't know if it was on purpose or not. But I love that Hugh Jackman stabs him in the nuts, you know, like, and then, like, this whole fight between them, and most of this trailer, I wonder if is, like, the first act of the movie, and then when they jump through that portal at the end of the trailer is going to be second and third act, and then we get a whole nother movie from there, right? Or is that going to be the end of the movie? They jump through the portal and then that's the end, and we don't know where they go. We'll find out next, you know, that type of thing. I really don't know, but the questions I got are things like that, like where are they, what are they doing, how do they end up together, how long are they together, where are they going, is it all going to be set in the void or wherever they are right now. They also mentioned that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is a Wolverine where his entire world got destroyed, and they show this image of him standing in a field with like fog and no sunlight really, and just a row of like pillars, which maybe are deceased X-Men. I really don't know, but Hugh Jackman's acting and face in that scene looked so sad, and I'm like, wait, whoa, what's happening to my Wolverine right now? Like, so comment below all the questions and thoughts you have on Deadpool and Wolverine. How many cameos do you expect in this? Who do you expect in this? I'm expecting things like Gambit, you know, being Channing Tatum, word that Julia Gardner's Elektra's coming back, you know, so there's things that are so wild that I can't expect that might be there. Also rumors that Taron Egerton might be in there as a variant of Wolverine, maybe a Daniel Radcliffe, maybe a Henry Cavill is a variant of Wolverine. Like, we really have no clue what's going to come, and I kind of really love that side of it, where it's just all going to be a surprise, it's all going to be crazy, and I really, really think that's going to be dope, you know, like, why won't it be, you know? But let's talk about some Funkos. The new Funkos for the Deadpool and Wolverine movie came out, so you can see the Deadpool Funko and the Wolverine Funko. The Wolverine Funko and everything that we've seen on the internet says that the cowl is going to be in the movie, but we have yet to see a confirmation of Hugh Jackman in that cowl. We've only seen like AI generated or photoshopped on cowls. We haven't really seen him in it yet, so I'm waiting. I wonder how it's going to look in live action, because I've always thought like the giant cowl thing that he wears is always cool, but it always is kind of like, how is that going to look in real life, you know? Like, where Deadpool, we all were like, how's that going to look like in real life? But then you put Ryan Reynolds in that suit and you go, it works, you know? So we've seen Hugh Jackman in the leathers and the black leather and the, you know, all the other outfits with just his face. So it's going to be strange to see him in the cowl, but yet I still want to see it. And then, you know, if you've been following X-Men 97 the last couple weeks, a Gambit and Rogue episode, mostly Gambit, but you know, like they were exploring their love and how much they like want each other, but she can't touch him and he can't touch her, so they just kind of like love each other so much, but they can't love each other the way that they want. And Hot Toys has come out with a brand new, or I don't know if it's Hot Toys or Sideshow, or I don't know if they're one and the same, but this is a Sideshow statue figurine of Gambit and Rogue, and I think it just looks beautiful with Rogue and kind of like his lap jumping on top of him. You can see the cards throughout the pink little fire around them. Oh god, Gambit's such a cool character. But Rogue, poor Rogue. Like, Rogue, after what happens to Gambit in episode 5, if you haven't seen it, go, you know, watch my breakdown of it at least, or go watch X-Men 97 if you haven't. But man, these two I really wish could get to live a happily ever after. But I'm not really one for the statues. I'm more of a Lego building type of guy. So right here might be a Sideshow statue that I might have to look into, because that looks really, really cool. But also just a crazy thing to think about. It has been 5 years since Avengers Endgame, right? And I remember going to see it in theaters, Burlington Theaters, with my buddy Barnard. Iron Man snaps, I am Iron Man, and he starts to die. Everyone dusts, and the theater is quiet. Just dead silent. They cut back to a dying Tony Stark, and everyone in the theater is so quiet and tearing up. And then a row behind us, there's these 3-4 teenage boys, and they all just, he's dead, and they all start laughing like fucking assholes. And I'm sitting there like, brush my tears. I can't stand up mad and turn around with tears in my eyes. So I'm sitting there like, oh no, these assholes aren't ruining this moment for everyone else in the theater, right? Like, it would be one thing if everyone was laughing and I was the minority, but everyone was silent and just these fucking assholes were laughing. So I'm sitting there next to my buddy Vanad, and I'm kind of composing myself because I'm still really in the movie and really in the moment. So was Bond, but because these assholes laughed so hard, he was like, shut the fuck up, you know, like so quick. He grabbed the edge of his seat. He's like, oh, these fucking kids. And I was about to blow up with him at these laughing kids, and all of a sudden a woman goes, shut up, you dickheads, you know, and I was just like, okay, at least someone said something. But then we spent, you know, the last 30 minutes of that movie with losing Iron Man and then losing Cap directly after it, crying, and I'm like, fuck it, Avengers Endgame hurt so bad. But what an experience in that theater regardless, where you know, they come through the portal, Sam on your left, friggin' you get to see T'Challa, you get to see Cap wield the hammer, right? Like, there's certain moments in that movie that are unbelievable. I still think Infinity War was crazy too, that Thanos won, you know what I mean? Like, you end that movie and we all left that movie like, what the fuck? And to the point where that movie ended so good that we had to see Avengers Endgame no matter what it was. You know what I mean? Like, we just needed it. But 5 years since then, right? So now we are currently caught up, right? The 5 years later in Endgame has been 5 years. So we have now caught up to the 5 years later. And we all thought, you know, in 2019, 5 years? What do you mean 5 years? What? How are you just going to cut 5 years? All of a sudden, it's been 5 years and not a whole ton of Marvel stuff has come out, right? And some of that was thanks to COVID and shit, so we had like a year where nothing was coming out in 2020. But, you know, that bought them a year, but still we have 4 years of stuff where not a whole lot has come out, you know, where considering a lot has, it could have been more. And now we've kind of caught up to the modern day where I think technically we're still like 2026 or something in the MCU timeline, but like that's only a year away, you know, or 2 years away. So, you know, this whole 5 year time jump that everyone thought was going to be crazy ridiculous, now we've caught up to it, and I don't even know what to think really. But comment below, where were you 5 years ago? Were you watching Avengers Endgame? What are your thoughts on Shogun? Are you going to see Challengers and Zeyendaya's new movie? And tell me all the cameos and things that you think are going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. And what are you excited for the most coming out of Deadpool and Wolverine in July? Or going into Deadpool and Wolverine in July. That will be here before we know it. But stay tuned for more Comically Boston's. Another episode coming out for an after show Thursday after X-Men 97 episode 8 or 9, I believe it is. But there's going to be the start of the 3-episode finale, Tolerance's Extinction. That whole series has been really, really good, so I'm super excited about that. Stay tuned, y'all. More movie reviews coming your way. Comically Boston's, and I can't wait to talk more X-Men 97 with y'all, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.